All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're getting into the real heart of any responsible AI strategy. We're talking about the govern function from the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. And trust me, this isn't about some boring compliance checklist. This is about building a culture that can actually handle the incredible power of AI safely and effectively.
So let me ask you something right off the bat, and it's a question for anyone deploying AI. Is your governance plan just a bunch of boxes you have to tick off? A hurdle you just need to get over? Or is it something more? Something that's actually a living, breathing part of your company's culture? As you'll see, the NIST framework makes it really clear that it has to be the second one.
Okay, so when you look at the AI Risk Management Framework, the RMF, you see these four big functions, right? You've got map, measure, and manage. But here's the kicker. Govern isn't just another step in the process. No way. It's the central nervous system, the operating system that connects and powers everything else. Without it, the other three just don't work properly.
So how do you build that operating system? Well, you have to start with some really solid pillars. And this begins, without a doubt, at the very top. Governance is not an IT problem to be solved in a server room. It's a strategic mission that has to flow directly from the C-suite.
The first pillar is all about defining your risk tolerance. And let's be clear, this isn't some complex metric that engineers calculate. It's a fundamental, strategic decision made in the boardroom. Leadership has to sit down and explicitly answer the question, how much risk are we willing to take on to get where we want to go? That single decision sets the stage for everything that follows.
And the second pillar, building rock-solid accountability structures. This means there is zero ambiguity. Who is responsible for what? Who has the authority to make the final call? Good governance demands a crystal-clear map of roles and responsibilities. So when a risk pops up, you don't have people pointing fingers. Everyone knows exactly who needs to step up and act.
And this is where the framework's playbook really shines, because it spells out the specific duties of the C-suite. It's not enough to just sign off on a policy and walk away. Leaders have to declare that risk tolerance, actively get involved, and champion a culture that's laser-focused on preventing harm. And maybe most important of all, they have to delegate the real power and resources to make it all happen.
Okay, so we have our pillars. Now for the fun part. Let's see how this governance engine actually works, how it actively weaves its way through the other functions of the framework. This is where policy turns into practice.
Let's start with the map function. You see, strong governance doesn't just tell you to map your risks. It dictates how you map them. And, this is huge, who needs to be in the room when you do it?
And that who is absolutely critical. The NIST playbook is explicit here. It says risk mapping must be informed by a diverse team. This is not just some HR talking point, folks. It's a core governance requirement. Why? Well, think about it. If everyone on your team looks the same and thinks the same, you're guaranteed to have massive, shared blind spots. Effective governance demands diversity because that's how you see the full spectrum of risk.
For mapping the risks, governance then dictates how we measure them. And this isn't about sitting back and just passively observing. This is about rigorous, proactive testing designed to find weaknesses before they can cause any real harm.
A perfect example of this is mandating red teaming. This idea is borrowed straight from cybersecurity. You create an independent team whose only job is to try and break your AI system. Really poke it and prod it under stressful conditions. The goal isn't just about finding a few bugs, it's about actively hunting for those deeper, systemic vulnerabilities.
And finally, governance provides the structure for the manage function. This is where you prioritize risks and actually do something about them. And it's not a free-for-all. It's a structured, repeatable process for responding to all the issues you've already mapped and measured.
A really mature governance program often uses this 3 lines of defense model. The first line is your development teams. They own the risk directly. The second line, that's your risk management and compliance folks. They provide oversight. And the third line is internal audit, which gives you independent proof that the first 2 lines are working. It creates these crucial layers of accountability.
All right, we've gone through the mechanics, but now let's zoom in on what is easily the most critical component of all of this, the human element. Because frameworks and processes are totally useless if you don't have the right culture, the right people, and the right mindset to bring them to life.
We touched on this earlier, but it is so important it's worth saying again. The playbook couldn't be clearer. Prioritizing things like diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility isn't just a social good. It's a direct route to more effective risk management. It's simple. Different life experiences and different areas of expertise allow a team to anticipate a much broader range of potential problems.
This kind of culture, one that thrives on diverse perspectives, enables another incredibly powerful concept: effective challenge. Now, this is not just a suggestion box. It's a formal, baked-in practice of empowering your experts to question big decisions, to play devil's advocate, and to challenge core assumptions, all without any fear of getting in trouble for it.
And the difference is just stark. An organization that truly embraces effective challenge, they find risks early. But an organization that lets groupthink take over, where nobody wants to rock the boat, they will inevitably get blindsided by risks that were hiding in plain sight the whole time, just because nobody felt empowered to speak up.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. We've seen how governance is really the strategic engine of the entire AI risk management framework. So let's distill all of this down into a clear action plan that can help you turn this framework into a reality for your organization.
So, what are the key takeaways? First, stop treating governance like a checklist. It's a dynamic engine. Second, make sure leadership owns it. They have to define risk tolerance from the top. Third, turn policy into practice with concrete actions like red teaming and the 3 lines of defense. And finally, you have to build a culture of diversity and effective challenge. It is the non-negotiable bedrock for any trustworthy AI. And we'll leave you with this final question, and I want you to think about it seriously. Right now, in your organization, who has the explicit authority and the empowerment to hit the brakes on an AI deployment if they find a critical risk? If the answer is, I don't know, or even worse, no one, then you know exactly where your governance journey needs to begin.